What really happened to Jack Grealish? For a few years, he was the most exciting English footballer in the Premier League. The low socks, the powerful calves, the ball glued to his right foot. At Aston Villa, everything flowed through him. Then Manchester City paid £100 million for him, making Grealish the most expensive British player at the time. He won almost everything there was to win, including the treble. Yet only a few seasons later, he was sent to Everton on loan, fighting for minutes, fighting for his England place, and perhaps fighting to prove that the player people fell in love with still existed. So where is Jack Grealish now? Did Pep Guardiola transform him into a winner, or did Manchester City slowly remove the qualities that made him special? And at 30 years old, after another serious injury interrupted his comeback, what happens next? This is the strange career of Jack Grealish. Grealish joined Aston Villa at the age of 6. He supported the club, grew up around it, and understood what the shirt meant to the people in the stands. But his path was not instant. In 2013, Villa sent the teenager on loan to Notts County in England's third tier. That physical environment taught him how to protect the ball against experienced defenders and survive when talent alone was not enough. When he returned, Villa supporters saw a rare player. Grealish did not rely on pure speed. He slowed down, invited a challenge, shifted his body, then accelerated when his opponent committed. His unusual posture made the ball difficult to reach without fouling him. Defenders knew what he wanted but still struggled to stop it. Villa were relegated in 2016 and Grealish had to mature in the championship. He learned to carry the pressure of being the hometown star. In 2019, manager Dean Smith made him captain, and Grealish led Villa back to the Premier League through the playoffs. That was where Grealish became a national star. At Villa, he had freedom. He could start on the left, drift into midfield, drop deep, or appear near the penalty area. The team gave him possession, runners, and responsibility. In the 2020 to 2021 league season, he produced 6 goals and 10 assists in 26 appearances and created 81 chances. No player created more open play chances per 90 minutes, but his greatest quality was control of attention. 2 defenders often moved toward him, opening space for a teammate. If opponents stood off, he advanced. If they stepped in, he won a foul. If they blocked the outside route, he slipped into the half space. He was not just creating chances, he was manipulating the opposition's shape. Manchester City saw a player who could break pressure, protect possession, and unlock deep defenses. In August 2021, they paid £100 million. People expected goals, assists, and spectacular moments every week. Guardiola wanted something more controlled. At Villa, Grealish had been the system. At City, he had to serve the system. That difference changed his football. Guardiola asked him to hold the width on the left and help City pin opponents back. Instead of following the ball, Grealish had to occupy the correct space. Instead of taking every risk, he had to know when losing possession could expose City to a counter-attack. The dramatic dribbles became less frequent. The safe pass became more common. To some fans, it looked as if Grealish had become afraid. In reality, he was learning a different job. His first City season was uneven, but the transformation succeeded in 2022 to 2023. Grealish became stronger, more disciplined, and more trusted. He received under pressure and kept the ball. He drew defenders away from teammates, worked back when possession was lost, and slowed matches down when they became chaotic. This was not the wild Grealish of Aston Villa. It was a version designed for elite knockout football. During City's treble campaign, Grealish started the FA Cup final and Champions League final. He played in all 13 Champions League matches and started 12. Guardiola had faster, more direct attackers, but selected Grealish in the biggest games because he trusted him to protect the team's structure. The key word is balance. City could attack quickly on the right, while Kevin De Bruyne and Erling Haaland took risks through the middle. On the left, Grealish offered security by receiving, pausing, and retaining the ball. He gave everyone time to move. His contribution was often the action before the action, drawing pressure, keeping an attack alive, or preventing a counter-attack. City won the Premier League, FA Cup, and their first Champions League. Grealish had reached the top, yet the role that made him a treble winner also changed how the public judged him. A winger who represented freedom had become a specialist in control. Then the momentum disappeared. Injuries disrupted his next season, while Jeremy Doku offered something different on the left. Doku was younger, faster, and attacked defenders immediately. When Guardiola wanted control, Grealish made sense. When he wanted chaos and acceleration, Doku offered more. Grealish collected another league winner's medal, but his place was no longer secure. In 2024 to 2025, he started only 7 league matches and finished with 1 goal and 1 assist. For a player carrying that transfer fee, those numbers were impossible to ignore, even if they never captured his tactical value. This is the central contradiction of Grealish's City career. He became a more complete team player, but a less productive individual attacker. Guardiola improved his positional discipline, defensive work, and decision-making, but repetition may also have weakened the instinctive side of his game. game. At Villa, he received the ball expecting to create something. At City, he often received it first thinking about what the team must not lose. Was that coaching, confidence, competition, or simply the natural consequence of moving from a team built around him to one filled with world-class players? The honest answer is probably all four. Within the summer of 2025, City left Grealish out of their Club World Cup squad. The message was clear: he needed a new environment. Everton offered him a season-long loan and the chance to become important again. The move made footballing sense. Everton needed creativity, someone who could demand the ball, carry the team forward, win fouls and give the attack a personality. David Moyes allowed Grealish to move inside more often and connect around the box. The response was immediate. He recorded 4 assists in his first 3 league appearances and was named Player of the Month for August. Grealish was not suddenly faster, he was simply more central to the game. More touches created rhythm, more responsibility created confidence. Before injury ended his season, he produced 2 goals and 6 assists in 20 league appearances. That is not the output of a superstar at his absolute peak, but it was a clear improvement on his final 2 seasons at City. More importantly, he looked influential again. Everton supporters saw a player capable of controlling attacks rather than merely supporting them. Then, in January 2026, the comeback stopped. Grealish suffered a stress fracture in his foot during a victory over Aston Villa. Surgery followed, and he was ruled out for the rest of the season. The timing was brutal. He lost the second half of a campaign that had restored his reputation, and his fading chance of forcing his way back into the England picture disappeared with it. And as of August 2026, Grealish is back under contract with Manchester City after his loan expired, but his future remains unresolved. His deal runs until 2027. Everton know what he can add, but a permanent move must make financial sense for a 30-year-old returning from a serious foot injury. So did Jack Grealish fail at Manchester City? If the question is whether he reproduced his Aston Villa numbers, the answer is no. In 4 seasons before the Everton loan, he scored only 17 goals in 157 appearances across all competitions. He never became the unstoppable attacking superstar that the transfer fee suggested, but if the question is whether he helped City win at the highest level, the answer is clearly yes. He was an important starter in a treble-winning team. He started 2 major finals, performed a demanding tactical role, and won 7 major trophies. Calling that career a failure would ignore what football is supposed to be about. The better question is what the move cost him as an individual. City gave Grealish medals, tactical education, and a place in history. Villa gave him freedom, identity, and the feeling that every attack belonged to him. Everton briefly returned that responsibility. His best football has usually appeared when a team trusts him, not merely to keep the ball, but to own the game. The next club must understand that Grealish is unlikely to become a high-volume scorer or explosive winger. His value comes from carrying possession, drawing pressure, connecting midfield to attack, and controlling tempo. Give him a rigid role with limited touches and his weaknesses become obvious. Give him responsibility and he can make a team calmer, braver, and more creative. Jack Grealish is not finished, but he has reached the stage where reputation cannot choose his future. Fitness, minutes, and tactical fit will decide the final chapter. Maybe he will return to Everton, maybe another club will offer him the freedom he had at Villa, or maybe he will stay at City. Wherever he goes, the lesson is clear. Success can change a player as much as failure. Grealish reached the top of Europe, but somewhere between freedom and control, the game stopped revolving around him. Now his challenge is not to become the old Jack Grealish again. It is to find a team that understands the player he is today, and that is where Jack Grealish is now.